You have to resist the feeling that the destiny you thought you knew God had for you has been ruined because some bad stuff happened. Keep this in mind, whether you've had a dream or a vision, or whether you just feel like God's put something in your heart, whether it's something specific or something general. Think back to Joseph and these dreams that he had. Now, to the charts there, it's just to get us to think. This is about Joseph's life, but obviously we want to see how does that apply to my life and what can I learn from that. So all those events in the boxes, you see that there's a dotted line going up from each one of those. And over to the left, you see the top half, there's a plus, and the bottom half, there's a minus. Have you ever seen these stock reports? Or an investment report? If you have a retirement account, you know it's going to go up and down, but you hope the overall trend is upward. Well, I think we tend to see life that way, don't we? Highs and lows, goods and bads, ups and downs. So for Joseph's life, the dotted line across the middle is baseline even. He was born. We could put that dot at the very beginning. He was born. Then each one of these events, do you think it was good for him? Do you think it was bad for him? How good? How bad? Chart these major events of Joseph's life. That is the way we tend to see it. That's the way I have to tell you that I have always seen it until relatively recently. The ups and downs, the oh no, poor Joseph, the yay, good Joseph. And I feel like, though, God showed me something different. And that is remembering that his big destiny, as we looked at in that scripture, you planned evil against me. God planned it for good, to bring about the present result, the survival of many people. Romans 8:28 in the New Testament tells us that God works together all things for our good, who are called according to his purpose. But this, I think, goes even a step beyond, because Romans 8:28 almost makes it feel like it's a reaction. But this is saying it's not just working something out of something that may have been bad for us, painful for us, but he planned it for good. And I feel like what Joseph said to his brothers was not only for them, and not only about them planning evil. I think that describes how Satan and God are working in our lives. Everything that happens, Satan's got a plan. He's trying to make it work out for our bad, but not only our bad, for the bad of lots of people. But God has a plan, and it's to work it out for our good. This is how I believe God sees it. Every one of those events was about getting Joseph from where he was to where he needed to be. Not only geographically, he was in Canaan, he needed to get to Egypt, but spiritually, character-wise, he had to not only physically get to Egypt, but he had to get there as the kind of person that a Pharaoh would listen to, that a Pharaoh would need. He was just a shepherd kid in Canaan who needed to be God's man in Pharaoh's court in Egypt. Would he be strong? Would he be wise? Would he be bold? Would he be confident? Would he led to all of those things? Geographically, from one place to the other, and interestingly, for instance, his father sent him to look for his brothers, and when he found his brothers, they were really mad at him at that point, and they were close to where these traders were going through. Geographically, that was in the opposite direction from Egypt. But it was right along the trade route where these slave traders were going to be going. Opposite direction? No. And not only to Egypt, but he had to be able to get into Pharaoh's court. Each one of the events got him closer. The deal with his Potiphar's wife. So unfair. But it put him into prison, the prison where the butler and the baker were going to be and were going to have dreams. And then he had the opportunity to interpret the dream for Pharaoh. And God gave him the wisdom to know what to do about it, so that he wasn't just the number 2 man in Egypt. He was the man with the plan, the man who had the answers. the man who was going to be able to save all of God's people then and future, as well as millions of others. This is how I believe God sees it. Every one of those events was about getting Joseph from where he was to where he needed to be.